Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Holly.
And this is a 2025 Cupra Formentor, a very popular global vehicle from the Spanish arm of the VW group that you may not be familiar with, but you'll be getting familiar with in a hurry because this brand is set to make its debut in the US market by the end of the decade. What does this performance hot hatch have to offer? And what do we have to look forward to? Stay tuned to find out. All right, gearheads, first things first, I do want to say a huge thank you to Cupra for inviting Holly and I out to Miami to experience this global car that is set to make its debut in the US by the end of the decade. It has been a lot of fun. We actually got to drive their bigger, more family-friendly SUV yesterday for your work with a Girl's Guide to Cars, so you'll definitely want to go check that out in their Terramar. But this Formentor is their performance vehicle. It's their hot hatch, and with over 300 horsepower and over 300 pound-feet of torque from this 2-liter Turbo 4, it's a lot of fun. I have truly enjoyed my time in this one so far. It's the same engine powertrain that we tested yesterday in a smaller and lighter package. Absolutely just a blast to drive. And I'm so sad that we barely have any time with them. I could definitely spend more time with this little Formentor. But we'll go ahead and talk about the styling of this brand and really what sets it apart. All right, Cupra, get used to seeing this logo, this vehicle, this shape, and this headlight design. There is a lot to really like about this. So, quick little history on Cupra. They started as a sub-brand of Seat, which is a brand of the VW group, but they are an autonomous being. VW is basically giving them money and license to make vehicles. This is built on shared platforms with brands that you might know, like Audi. So this shares a lot of parts with Audi to keep costs down, but it's essentially a startup vehicle. What we've got here, very angular design, very cool look to this vehicle. We've got these triangle-like running lamps that mimic the 3 triangle design here in the Cupra logo. I really love this bronze accenting. We'll see that throughout. This is on their gas-powered models, and then they're going with an acid green on their EVs, which we will see more of in the future. But I just love all these sharp lines and creases. The personality of this car, it just exudes personality over and above, well, the Audi models that it shares a lot with. As we pull around to the side, I mentioned on the logo, all the bronze, the copper. We see a repeat of that with the wheels, with the brake calipers. A lot going on here. We've got some Goodyear performance rubber wrapped around these 19-inch wheels. Very aggressive look. You can see the cross-drilled brakes and the big calipers. You know this is a performance hot hatch just by looking at the wheel and tire setup. And then this matte green paint. They were very proud to talk about all the raw colors that they use, but very earth tone. So the bronze, this matte green, all of it earth tone, kind of leaning back into nature. But Holly, if you'll swing around and you take a look at the entire profile of it, it really is about the size and proportions of, and this will be blasphemy as I'm talking about a performance hot hatch, but it's kind of the size and proportions of a Chevy Trax. But again, way more personality, way more character, way more performance as well. All these sharp body lines with this matte paint really set it off. Then as we pull around to the back, we get this full width LED light bar, that triangular light pattern repeating here. We get the Cupra logo illuminated back in the back. The Cupra badging back here, also in bronze, with the model and trim here. Very aggressive look, very tight angular proportions. And then our bronze exhaust, quad tip exhaust. This lets you know from behind, because you're going to see the back end of this one quite a bit with over 300 horsepower and over 300 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, we've got something special here. Now, if we'll pull around even more, sorry that I'm going so fast. We barely have any time with this one, but the interior, again, you'll see a lot of familiarity. That's a harder word to say this morning than I thought with Audi. But again, way more personality, way more character, way more going on with this. We see a repeat of all the bronze accenting that we saw outside here on the inside. We get different use of materials and textures, something that they are very proud of. And yes, they're only doing part sharing where it really matters for cost savings. So we'll talk a little bit more about the front seat when we are driving. The back seat technically is a 3-person back seat, but it's a little on the tight side. See me climb in here behind myself at 5'10". I've got enough room that I'm comfortable enough. I do have some air vents back here, some power back here, plenty of headroom. There's a cutout here back behind the big panoramic roof, but all around fairly comfortable back here. But this is a driving review, so let's hop behind the wheel and see how this thing drives on the streets of Miami-Dade County. As we're sitting inside now, comfortable bucket seats, not quite as fun as what we saw in the Terramar, but still very supportive, very nice. We do see some part sharing down here with some other VW Group products, Audi, VW, but I mean, for the most part, this is a very unique vehicle in its own right. If you show this to anyone, would you know, as a normal person, as one of our YouTube commenters just said, would you know that this is anything other than a standalone brand? Would you know that this has anything to do with Audi or Volkswagen at all?
No.
Yeah. No. So very unique.
Definitely not Audi.
Yes. Very unique, very bespoke to itself. Again, this is a Spanish company that was born from Seat, another brand that you may not be too familiar with. Looks like Seat. But they spun off from them, much like Genesis spun off from Hyundai, and they're really focused on racing and performance and youth and culture. And there's a lot going on with this brand. You and I are going to go to a Formula E race where Cupra is participating. There's one. There's one. Later today. So there is a lot going on here with this brand. And as I mentioned in the intro, they are looking to come to the US by the end of the decade. And judging by this car and the Terramar we drove yesterday, they're on to something. So we've got the 2-liter turbo underneath the hood, over 300 horsepower, over 300 pound-feet of torque, several different drive modes that can be accessed through the screen here or through the Cupra button right here on the steering wheel. I will note, we're in comfort now. The engine stopped. One thing I don't love so much, you have to swipe down here to turn off the engine start-stop. There's no physical button for that.
Is that
No, that's automatic emergency braking. But then you can see we've got comfort, performance, Cupra mode, individual, off-road, and drift mode.
Yeah,
can I use that one?
No.
All right, so we've got a clear street in front and behind us. You ready to see what this thing can do?
Oh,
really
boy.
Quickly?
Hurry
Let's see.
up, there's
Let's see.
the police around.
All right, there we go. Oh my goodness, those shifts. They're quick, they're a little punchy back behind you there. We get a nice sound from the exhaust on this one. Yes, we've seen a lot of law enforcement today, so I'm not doing anything crazy. That wasn't a full 0 to 60 run. More to come with this car, but it's punchy, it's powerful. I did notice, granted, like just brake torquing it very quickly as we pull out into traffic, I didn't get the best launch. There was a little bit of turbo lag. I kind of want to do it again. I think maybe, yes, we can do it again. Real quick right here. We're going to come to a stop.
There's the policeman right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, see, they're everywhere. Can't do it. Luckily, I've got her with me. But yes, fun little car. It's very punchy, very peppy, very eager to drive, especially in this performance mode. So very, very fun. But what has been your experience with the brand as a whole while we've been down here?
I've really liked it a lot. And one thing that I really like about it is the character and the design style. And I say this in almost every review that we do, is that there are ways to make cars interesting at an affordable price. Which this will probably be in the mid-range on affordability, which is fine, but still. And we talked about that with the designers yesterday, is that they intentionally made these cars with a lot of design using more affordable materials.
Plastic, for instance.
Yeah,
but
plastic.
So much texture and character.
Yeah, it brings in, they have a lot of triangles in their design, and this plastic piece up here at the front, which is still really, I mean, you wouldn't know that it was plastic until you tapped on it, but it brings in those triangle designs into that that piece, which makes it look really nice.
We had to talk a little bit part sharing because there is a lot. The buttons here, very Audi. The buttons on the window switches, very Audi. This infotainment, the screen and the climate volume controls, very VW. But these sliders for all our controls here, volume, HVAC, they are backlit, which is something that VW learned the hard way when they first rolled these out. They weren't backlit. You do have sliders, so they have leaned in a little bit into the more affordable infotainment, everything's touch. But the UI here is specific to Cupra. I really do like it. You get a bunch of shortcuts up here that you can pre-program, including we've got CarPlay up here, our drive modes up here, quick access to our vehicle controls up here. So a lot going on here. We have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We've got Qi wireless charging down here, USB-C charging down here. Decent space for what is a hot hatch because this is a performance vehicle after all. So you're not buying this one for its overall practicality like you would the Terramar that we were in yesterday. Some other things that I want to note in here. We've got this purple light that goes around from the doors to the dash, very a la ID anything from Volkswagen, ID Buzz, ID3, ID4. But the lights here on the door serve multiple different purposes. For one, if somebody's in your blind spot, it lights up yellow or orange or amber, however you want to call it. If you open the door, it lights up red to let everyone know behind you, hey,
the door's
be
open.
Careful, there's a door here. So just small, thoughtful touches that you wouldn't expect from what is essentially a startup brand. I keep calling them a startup brand because, again, they spun out from an existing brand. They are backed by VW, but they are autonomous. They are allowed to do what they want and need to do. They talked a lot about their marketing strategy and investing heavily into racing, both in cars and boats. So there's a lot going on with this brand.
They're into the racing scene, right? And they've brought some elements, I feel like, into the car from the racing scene, like the design of the seats. They look like racing seats, but they're much more comfortable, I'm sure. I've never sat in a race car seat, but I just imagine they're not as
comfortable. You've been in the McLaren. That's a full-fledged race seat.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Well, it's more comfortable.
Yes. Okay. And more adjustable as well. But yes, very comfortable. They are heated. They are not ventilated. I have 3-person memory over here. You do not over there.
I do.
You do.
I have 3-person memory over here.
We did not in the Terramar. So nice to see them adding some creature comforts along the way. But ride in this. It is firm, especially firmer, especially I'm in performance mode now. But we've got dynamic suspension in this. DCC, as they call it, dynamic chassis control, and very tight steering, very direct steering, and it's been a blast to drive. I've had a lot of fun driving this one. Really do want to open up its legs a little bit more. You can hear it downshifting as
Yeah.
we slow down.
It would be easier to do in East Texas.
Yes.
But Miami, not so much.
Not downtown Miami, unfortunately. So we're going to wait. We're going to be patient. We're going to let this brand figure some things out. I don't know if you noticed the license plates. Definitely not US spec plates on this one. This is a global brand. You can currently get them in North America by heading down to Mexico. They are based in Mexico, but they are working their way north to us. One thing that really struck me, last year they sold 240,000 plus vehicles worldwide, which is actually quite a bit. It's about a quarter of what Nissan sold in the US in 2024. So we're really ramping it up, and the US market is the largest auto market in the world. So, I mean, they're there, they're coming. But of course, based in Barcelona, Spain, they say Germany is their biggest European market, but the US will eventually, I'm sure, surpass that to be their largest market overall.
And one thing that is important to them as a brand is making some thoughtful collaborations with merchandise outside of cars, which I thought was really interesting. Their main priorities are to support local Barcelona products as well as sustainability and any recycled products that they can have. So some of the fun things that they sell in addition to cars is 3D printed shoes.
I thought those were so
3D
cool.
printed shoes. They also have another line of shoes that are made from recycled products that they look similar to like Vans.
Yeah.
The Converse style of shoe. So those are fun. They have jewelry that is actually designed with their research and design team.
And every buyer gets a bracelet.
Every buyer gets a bracelet. That's right.
That was really cool.
So everything ties in very nicely with the car, and as well as supporting their local economy there in Barcelona, businesses.
And what it's doing is it's building a Cupra culture unto itself. I triggered. But it is building a culture unto itself that it is building that brand awareness, but it's also, as they say, they want kids to see them. Oh, Cupra, Cupra, Cupra.
Yeah.
And while we were filming yesterday, the Terramar, somebody pulled up next to us in an Audi.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't know they were selling those here yet. And we had to explain, no, they're coming. But they had rented one while overseas and loved it. Obviously, they're a fan of VW Group. But yeah. Already,
the excitement is here.
Already gaining notoriety. I posted on my personal socials yesterday just the headlight, very unique design. And I was like, any guesses? We got Hyundai, Kia, because they're doing risky things with design. I got Chinese, because the Chinese are doing a lot with design. And all of those were wrong.
All of those were wrong.
So I do appreciate the spirit of Cupra. We watched a video. I won't repeat everything I heard in the video, but instantly I knew this was not your typical car company. PC threw it out the window, and just really aggressive and being relevant, socially relevant.
Yeah, and taking risk, just like their release of the Terramar.
Yes.
Which Terramar means land and sea.
Yes.
Obviously, in Spanish. They anybody can have a press conference. Anybody can have a drive event. They partnered with a sailing championship
in Barcelona
that and made a Terramar that can go out on the water.
An amphibious Terramar. Like, duh. And basically, as we were talking with the team at dinner last night and throughout the day, there's no in their vernacular.
Right.
It's, how can we do it? It's not, no, that can't be done. When they're told they can't do something, that only makes them want to do it more. There is no second, is kind of their ethos. Again, from the Racing Championship.
Yeah, I would love to be sitting around that table. We're like, Okay,
Hear
stick
me
with
out.
me.
As we are getting into some more downtown settings, definitely feeling the firmer suspension. It is a sportier suspension, but it's not beating us up. It is still comfortable. The transmission, while sport tuned, is doing exactly what I want. I don't feel it hunting for gears. The power is absolutely there, but our camera throughout this time has been adjusting to the fact that we do have a firmer suspension. So as we hit the bigger bumps, it's noticing the bumps, but we here in our comfy seats, not so much. A few last things, again, the part sharing, but sound systems, Sennheiser is a big selling point for them. They're very proud. They think it is the best hi-fi system in vehicles that you can get today. So, of course, they're going to say that. They partnered with them to bring them into their cars, but
Yeah.
we
haven't really tested it out because we've mostly been filming and working.
But that brings us back to you. What more do you want to know from this brand? Do you want to know about more about the Terramar? You need to go check out her story on A Girl's Guide. She's got a video over there as well. If you want to know more of what we're testing, you can follow along with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. You can find her channel and outlets, Facebook and Instagram at Female Consumer. And again, everything GT Garage Talk is at GT Garage Talk. But as for us, in the 2025 Cupra Formentor Hot Hatch from Miami, until next time, gearheads. Bye.
Bye.
Right at 7:30. Look at us. We're good, babe. They told us 7:30. We got here at 7:30.
Yep.